Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Little Chapel of Faith Catholic Ministries. If you're new here, welcome. We have platforms on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. If you could please give our videos a like, it keeps our ministry growing. You know, yeah. So the more we can be, the larger our ministry gets, the more people are learning and spreading the word of the Lord. So we are here for the diary of Saint Faustina. We read an excerpt every day. So on our YouTube page, we do have a playlist for her. So if you've missed anything, you can go back and read it. And there are some other videos of nuns from her order in Poland. I believe they are from Poland, and they're very, very interesting as well. So those are all in that playlist. So let's begin where we left off yesterday. I tremble to think that I have to give an account of my tongue. There is life, but there is death, also death in the tongue. Sometimes we kill the tongue, we commit real murders, and we are still to regard that as a small thing. I truly do not understand such consciousness. I have known a person who, when she learned from someone that a certain thing was being said about her, fell seriously ill. She lost a good deal of blood and shed many tears, and the outcome was very sad. It was not the sword that did all this, but the tongue. Oh, my silent Jesus, have mercy on us. I have wandered on the subject of silence, but this is not what I wanted to speak about, but rather about the soul's life with God and about its response to grace. When a soul has been cleansed and the Lord is on intimate terms with it, it begins to apply all its inner forces in striving after God. Yet the soul cannot do anything of itself. God alone arranges everything. The soul knows this and is mindful of it. It is still in exile and understands well that there may yet come cloudy and rainy days, but it must now look upon things differently from what it had up to now. It does not seek reassurance and false peace, but makes ready for battle. It knows it comes from a warrior race. It is now more aware of everything. It knows there is a royal stock. It is concerned with all that is great and holy. There is a series of graces which God pours into the soul after these trials by fire. The soul enjoys intimate union with God. It has many visions, both corporeal and intellectual. It hears many supernatural words and sometimes distinct orders. But despite these graces, it is not self-sufficient. In fact, it is even less. So as a result of God's grace, because it is now open to many dangers and can easily fall prey to illusions, it ought to ask God for a spiritual director. But not only must it pray for one, it must also make every effort to find a teacher who is an expert in these things. Just as a military leader must know the ways along which he will lead in battle. A soul that is united with God must be prepared for great, hard-fought battles. After these purifications and tears, God abides in the soul in a special way, but the soul does not always cooperate with graces. Not that the soul itself is not willing to work, but it encounters so many interior and exterior difficulties that it really takes a miracle to sustain the soul on these summits. In this, it absolutely needs a director. People have often sown doubt in my soul, and I have sometimes become frightened at the thought after all, that I was, after all, an ignorant person and did not have knowledge of many things, above all, spiritual things. But when my doubts increased, I sought light from my confessor or my superiors. Yet I did not obtain what I desired. When I opened up myself to my superiors, one of them, probably Mother Michael or Mother Mary Joseph, understood my soul and the road God intended for me. When I followed her advice, I made quick progress towards perfection. But this did not last long. When I opened my soul still more deeply, I did not obtain what I had desired. It seemed to my superior that these graces of which I was object were unlikely, and so I could not draw any further help from her. She told me it was impossible that God should commune with his creatures in such a way. I fear for you, sister. Isn't this an illusion of some sort? You better go back and seek the advice of a priest. But the confessor did not understand me and said, You better go, sister, and talk about these matters with your superiors. And so I would go from superiors to confessor, and from confessor to superiors, and found no peace. These divine graces became a great suffering for me, and more than once I said to the Lord Jesus directly, I am afraid of you. Could you not be some kind of ghost? Jesus always reassured me, but I still continued to be incredulous. It is a strange thing, however. The more I become incredulous, the more Jesus gave me proof, and these things came from Him. When I saw that my mind was not being set at rest by my superiors, I decided to say nothing to them of these purely internal matters. Exteriorly, I tried as a good nun should to tell everything to my superior, but as for my needs of my soul, I spoke about these only in the confessional. For many good reasons, I learned that a woman is not called to discern such mysteries. I laid myself open to much unnecessary suffering. For quite a long time, I was regarded as one possessed by the evil spirit, and I was looked upon with pity, and the superior took certain precautionary actions in my respect. It reached my ears that the sisters also regarded me as such, and the sky grew dark around me. I began to shun these divine graces, but it was beyond my power to do so. Suddenly, I would be enveloped in such a recollection that against my will I was immersed in God, and the Lord kept me completely dependent upon Himself. I think we're going to end right there. So, it sounds at this point that she was definitely being looked at as, you know, crazy, sadly, and things like that. And I think sometimes when we make different moves in life, I think that's what happens with us. I think people immediately look at us as, you're crazy. I know I've always been kind of different anyway. I always kind of walked to the beat of my own drum, even when I was a young child. But people, you think you're just, but people think you're, odd or whatever the case may be. And it's sad in this world we can't sometimes be ourselves or believe what we want to believe or do what we want to do without being, even now, when I started this ministry and as I went along, I've been told I changed and things like that. And well, I may have changed to some degree, but in a good way. I feel anyway. For me, it's what I've needed and what I've probably been always looking for because I always felt like I really didn't quite fit in anywhere in life. And I'm in a place where I'm peaceful. And so, when someone decides to make, any decision in life that's not going to hurt anyone, of course, we shouldn't sit there and question them or judge them, or, whatever the case. If a person makes a good decision in their life, especially a spiritual one, it's something they need and something clearly they've been missing or looking for, or, you know, um, in my case, again, as I said before, when my mom passed away, it was devastating, you know, um, and I feel like I was led here, literally led here. I've told the story before, and I don't want to rehash it, but I was in a really dark, dark place, and this is how this all came about. So, um, I'm happy here, and I'm happy with what I'm doing, and it brings me incredible peace. And my blood pressure shows it, which medically speaking, um, I every night I'm so calm after I do all my things that I do that I've taken my blood pressure. My blood pressure has been great, and I think it's because I've found peace, and that's what's important. So we shouldn't judge anyone on anything they do. or any way they are, and you don't know, with her, she, no one knew really what, she was really truly experiencing and how awesome that was. But right away we label people as crazy and things like that. And it's terrible. We shouldn't, because we are all walking to the beat of our own drum, and that's kind of why I always, it's funny because I was talking about this to my husband. I know there's a lot of religious pages that tell you, people are telling you this is what you should do. I don't want, I don't ever tell anybody. I mean, I'm not saying that's their pages and that's how it runs, and you know, um, I mean, maybe that's what people need, but I don't want to tell anyone what they should be doing because I'm just learning about what I should be doing myself. And I've been a Catholic all my life, but there's still so much more I'm learning now, and it shouldn't be like I can tell you what I'm doing, what I'm experiencing, or what I'm learned and everything, and it may be something like, wow, I want to do that too, or wow, let me look into that. But I want to tell you because I don't know myself. I'm no expert on this. I'm learning every day. I'm learning something new. I can tell you what I'm doing and what I've learned and the joy I may find in it. And you may be like, yeah, no, that's not for me. I don't want to tell you that's what you should be doing. I don't want to say these are the things you should be reading, and I just, that's not the way I want this page to go, because I'm no expert. I'm just someone learning my religion that I've had all my life, and I'm learning more about it and the things that I want to do as part of that religion. But if I'll tell you about, again, like I'll tell you about what I'm doing, the things that I'm learning or whatever. You may want to do it too. You may not, and but I don't want to say this is what you should do. I just, that seems wrong to me. Um, I don't know. If I knew what to do to get to heaven, I'd be doing it every day, all day, 24 hours a day. So I'm just doing what I hope is something that will get me to heaven someday, and that's what I'm doing. So anyway, that is it. I have to get ready to go to work. Start another day. But anyway, we'll be back later with our posts to the Blessed Virgin, our messages from Jesus, and our saints. So you have a great day, everyone. Be well, be kind to each other. God bless.